Yo, what's up guys, my name is Nick and welcome to the Dutch Grand Prix. In the last episode we took on the Belgian Grand Prix and it was a fantastic one. So if you haven't seen that one, then go check it out. Link will be in the description. It was one of the best races I've ever done. It was a lot of fun and this one is going to be a lot of fun as well. But of course we have to do something about our facilities. We have not that much cash that we can do something to upgrade any of the departments to Spec 3. But luckily they already are, so we are going to put in some money in marketing and personnel. Of course, we want more bonuses from our good responses on department events, and we also want a better pit stop performance. So that's what we are doing in today's video. And yeah, we are taking on the Dutch Grand Prix, if I haven't said that before. So yeah, the 10th round already, only 6 rounds after this one. It's going to be a good one. So in quali we are coming out of the pits. Of course we have to get used to the tires, they are still cold. So we are getting them up to heat to make ourselves a bit comfortable with our car. And yeah, as you can see, we are still in dry weather, but that's going to change in the second and maybe the third part of qualifying as well, as that's what the forecast said. So yeah, we are trying to go out as fast as possible to make sure that we get a lap in the dry, so that we are through to the next part. But of course, we know that we are at the moment fast enough to get ourselves out of this, out of Q1 easily. As we are now behind Perez. He is still in his out lap, but he will do his flying lap next lap, and we will do a second lap as well. As I felt that we could do a bit better than we did just now. Hamilton did a 110.7 and we will do a 111.000. So still a few tenths that we can find to maybe get ourselves up into the front row or the second row. Of course, this is still qualifying one, but I want to see what the pace is in the dry before we get to the wet weather. Sergio Perez goes faster and we are only 25,000 behind them. And actually this was already it. As you can see, Perez goes wide into turn 1. We also do that. But yeah, the rain kept coming in the second part of Q1. So that was the only lap that we could do. We are in P4, our teammate in P11. 6 tenths of pole. I am only 1 tenth of pole, so this is great to see. Unfortunately, it's going to rain in the next part of qualifying. And we all know that I'm not the greatest at driving in the rain. Lando Norris only in P22, so not the best quali for him. And he'll have to do it on the Sunday to try and get a better race to get points or just get a good position to not finish in P22. Of course, now in Q2 you can see we are in intermediate compound weather. So yeah, as I said before, I'm not the fastest. I will do a lot of laps to get myself up to speed. And I feel like I should do some practice in the wet as well. To get myself up to speed, because if I have to lower the difficulty, I don't want to do that when it's raining, because it feels like cheating. So I just have it on 91, just like I always do. So yeah, if I get knocked out, it's just because I'm not fast enough and I have to get up to speed. Charles Leclerc puts in a 120.2. We are currently at a 121.1, so still a lot of time to find, as we are currently sitting in P4. We are not gaining that much time. We are losing and gaining everywhere around the lap. So yeah, we are not getting faster this lap. As you can see, we almost crashed into the barrier. We are currently in P6, but we are doing a third lap to see if we can find a bit of pace eventually. So yeah, first corner doesn't go that great, but we'll regain some time. And eventually, when we go towards the start-finish straight, we are half a second faster, which brings us up to P6, only 49,000 behind Dictum, and is just enough to get ourselves through to Q3. Unfortunately, my teammate Oscar Piastri is not going through to the third and final part of qualifying. He is out in P11. Of course, there's still a 3 tenths gap, so he wasn't going to go through if he was a bit faster. So it's just the pace that he doesn't have in the wet as well. Let's just hope that he can do a bit better in the race this Sunday, because we will need the points. And as we are now in the final 2 minutes here in qualifying, the weather forecast said that it was going to dry up in 5 minutes when there were still 12 minutes to go. But as you can see, they were lying to us, and as we get a good exit out of the final turn to start our one and only lap, yeah, I don't think that we can get pole position in this quali. I feel like if we were in a dry track, then I could possibly do it, because I was only 1/10 off in Q1, and I felt like I made some tiny mistakes as well. So unfortunately, it's not dry, it's wet, and we are going through the first few corners. And it doesn't feel that bad. It was actually an average lap. It was just average. It wasn't good enough to actually gain loads and loads of time. Max Verstappen puts in a 1:18.9, so he's the first driver to go into the 1:18s. And I feel like that will be the fastest that he will, or anyone actually will do. As we are crossing the line right now, a 1:19.8, so 9/10 off, and it's only good for P9. So we are starting the race in P9, not that bad. Of course, my teammate in P11, but maybe if someone gets penalties, then we can gain a bit more. George Russell starts on pole position, Max Verstappen in P2 and Fernando Alonso in P3. So Russell actually went faster than Max Verstappen and starts on pole position. Only 2 drivers who went into the 1:18s, so I feel like that should be a good battle. Of course, we still need to overtake 8 drivers to get ourselves that win today. But I feel like it could still be possible if it's dry throughout the whole race. We will find that out in the race.
Welcome along then to the North Sea coast and to the Zandvoort circuit. We're 25 miles away from Amsterdam for today's Dutch Grand Prix. It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. Zandvoort circuit then, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout the 2.6 mile lap. And watch out for cars making use of the DRS zone into turn 1 to attempt an overtake. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's champion. Max Verstappen starts from pole position and Fernando Alonso completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Esteban Ocon and Perez, Ricciardo, the engineer, Tictum and Oscar Piastri. Russell, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Albon, Guan Yu Zhou and Magnussen, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi, Gasly, Schwartzman, Norris and Liam Lawson. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about the engineer. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances. But what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another good race today.
As we are now starting the formation lap in P8, you can see we are starting on the mediums and our teammate is doing that as well. The third driver who is doing that is Guan Yu Zhou, and we are all starting on the mediums. The rest is driving from softs to hards, or at least I hope they do, because otherwise they will have a Ferrari strategy and will finish in P22. But now we are lining up towards the grid. We've already got a car at the place where we need it to be, and it's time for us to start this Grand Prix. 4 lights, 5 lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go. We get a mess start. We don't get a good start. We lose a few positions, as you can see, but we go down the inside of our teammate and down the inside of Dan Tictum, and we take back the place. You can see he doesn't get a good start because he gets overtaken by George Russell as well. He tries to overtake us, but luckily that doesn't happen as we stay in P9 for now. trying to go around the other side of our teammate, but that doesn't happen here. We need to wait a bit longer until we are at the next part of the track and we go down the inside and we just take the position. Luckily, no damage for either car because that would ruin our team spirit and our race. So yeah, now we are up back into P8. Can we win this race? Let's see what we can do. And let it know in the comments down below. Verstappen is still in P1 and he's creating a gap together with Fernando Alonso. And I tried to go around the other side of Daniel Ricciardo, but it just wasn't possible there, getting a lot of wheel spin out of that corner. So we need to be patient. Of course, we have 36 laps. We are already in lap 3. So I feel like we could do something. Because I can still hold on to the soft runners, because I just feel like I have the pace on this track. It's one of my best tracks in the calendar. As Ocon goes deep, and it looks like, did he make contact with Perez? Is this Perez have damage? Let's find out. They are still side by side. We are going to use a different line through here to get a good exit to maybe even overtake somebody. Of course, Hamilton now is far ahead of us, but we can try to overtake Ricciardo and Ocon, maybe even Perez going to the inside, switching to the outside and going around the outside. Can we overtake somebody? It does look like it. We are still side by side with Daniel Ricciardo, but let's take it on board with him. And you can see we go past him and we just get up into P7 for ourselves. Of course, it's fun to see how the other cars react to us flying by. So I tried this scam once. If you want to see the scam more often, then let me know in the comments down below. But we are continuing this race. Lap 5 in P7. Can we get up to P6? I think we can, as DRS is enabled. ERS, we don't have that much anymore, but we are trying to go down the inside and we do so, and we are up into P6 in lap 6. Can we get up into P5 as well? I don't know. Of course, the Alpine is a bit slower than our car, and so is the McLaren, so that's probably why I could overtake them on SOS. And now in lap 7 you can see Perez is already outside that 1 second gap. I can still hold on to them, but I'm just not fast enough to overtake them. Of course, we are on a harder compound, so we will be going longer into this stint. And I feel like the tires should be going off the cliff by now. I mean the soft tires. Of course, my tires will be fine for just another lap, or maybe 4 or 5. But we'll need to wait to see what will happen to them. As it's now lap 11, we are really close behind Perez. Can we try to overtake him with the use of ERS and DRS? What? Wow. I thought we would have a good battle with him, but we don't. We just get the position because we do not pit and he does. So Verstappen pitted the first, so he is down in I think it's around P10 at the moment. And we are in P2, so yeah, all the soft runners are pitting and we are staying out. My tires are at the moment 42% at the front and 34% at the back. So you can see there is a bit of a difference, and that can really give us a difficult job, as we are now in the lead of the Grand Prix. Lap 15 has just started. We are near the halfway point of this race. What do we do with our strategy? Of course, we can go from mediums to hards and get a good result in P2 or P3. But at the moment, Verstappen is 13.6 seconds behind. Are we faster than him? Yes, we are. Lap 17 and we are 16.8 seconds ahead of him. And as you can see, we are still fast on these tires. I've just set a new personal record. So I am going to stay out and I have to wait until I lose time to him to finally get into the pits. You can see I should go in on this lap, but I feel like the tires are still fine. So that's why I'm staying out. My teammate is coming into the pits this lap. So we are going for another strategy. We are going for the medium soft strategy. I think Hamilton does that as well. So we should be able to do that. As Joe goes into the pits as well and he loses lots and lots of positions. But at the moment 57% tire wear and it doesn't feel too bad. Still 18.5 seconds to Verstappen, and pitting here costs around 20 seconds. So we are only going to come out 2 seconds behind him on fresh softs. Of course, they will have loads and loads of tire wear. So I'm trying to stay out as long as possible. Lap 20, still not going into the pits, still trying to hold on to these tires, and once again setting a personal record. So we are still fast on these tires. And now in lap 22 you can see boxing this lap because it's 72% tire degradation, and I feel like if we went another lap it could result, could get us a puncture, and I don't want that, as we just ruin our tires going into the pits, but we don't need them anymore. You can now see out of the pits we come and we touch the wall. That's not great, and we get a warning for crossing the pit lane, but luckily no damage and no penalty. And now we need to get our tires up to temperature as fast as possible to try and overtake Verstappen. But of course, he is on old hards, we are on new softs. I think this is going to be an easy one. But of course, still 13 laps to go with softs. I don't know how bad the tire degradation is around this track on the softs. Of course, we saw that the AI could do around 12 to 13 laps on softs at the start of the Grand Prix, so I feel like we should be able to do that as well, because now we have less fuel and everything. 2 purple sectors at the moment. We are coming towards the start-finish straight, and it looks like we are going to put in a new personal best, and it's the fastest lap of the race, a 1:10.8. It's absolutely an amazing time. I feel like that was one of my best laps I've done around here, and that was the result as well. So as you can see, lap 25 going into lap 26, we are still behind Verstappen. 4 tenths is the difference. We are still too far away to get ourselves in the lead here in the turn 1. So we are staying behind him. But of course, a long way to go. The tire wear is already oh my god. The tire wear is already 18%. And we have only done, I think, 2 or 3 laps on them, 4 laps maybe, as we go around the outside, but we go too deep and we go onto the gravel. Oh no, luckily no damage. Oh my god, that was really close with Verstappen. Let's take another look at that, because that is one great battle. You can see we go deep and we just have too much speed carried into this corner, and that just gives Max Verstappen the position back. Looking from his onboard, you can see that we still leave lots and lots of space, so we could have just gotten a bit slower through that entry, and then we would have been fine. But here we go on the start finish straight, entering lap 27, and it looks like we are taking the lead here. Around the outside we go 23% on the tire wear, and we still need to do 10 laps. Will we be able to get there, or will we get a puncture? That is the question that I ask myself throughout this race, or throughout this stint. Of course, as you can see now in the lead, I feel like we should get a comfortable lead for around a few seconds, maybe 4 or 5 seconds ahead of Verstappen. But here he comes. He just stayed with us for this entire lap, and he's still trying to get ahead of us, and he actually does. He is in the lead right now, and we need to fight for P1. We can't relax. We need to be on focus the entirety of this stint, of this race, to get a win here and try to close that gap to Verstappen in the driver standings. But here we go, lap 28, coming into lap 29. We switch to the outside and we go around the outside to try and overtake him for the lead. And I think this is it. This is the overtake that we need. Not our teammate, Mark, our engineer, said that we needed to come into the pits this lap, but we are not going to do that. We are not pitting anymore because we will drop down to P11 and get no points. That's not what we want. Now at the moment 1.7 seconds lead. Now we push another lap to make sure that Verstappen is outside that 1 second gap to no longer get DRS, and I feel like this could be it. I think this is job done. But of course our tire wear, and there's a yellow flag in sector 2. Oh boy, is this going to be a virtual safety car or maybe even a safety car? That would help us out massively. Mick Schumacher is out of the race, and he's not even the first guy who retires. His teammates retired before him, but we didn't get to see that as it wasn't anything good or anything interesting in this race. But now at the moment you can see our tire wear is above 60%. 60% and still 3 laps to go. I don't know how we are going to do that. Do we get a puncture? I hope we do not, because Verstappen is only 1.2 seconds behind us, and if we get a puncture, maybe if it's in the final corner then we can still get it. but now 70%, 71% even, and still 1 lap to go. Verstappen is only 4 tenths behind. We are using all our ERS to make sure that we don't get overtaken in the last lap. We know what happened here in the previous season. We lost a point in the final corner, or I should even say on the start finish straight, because we lost it by less than 1,000 of a second. Final lap we have here, and I'm going to show you the entire lap. As you can see, we are speeding it up just a little bit. The tire percentage are now at 74%, is going up towards 75, and then we can get a puncture. We don't want that. As you can see, 75%. Do we get a puncture or do we win this race? That's the question. 4 tenths between me and Verstappen. The only way that we can get a second place, or maybe even just third, or not even a podium, is if we get a puncture right now. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like we are going to win this race. 2 corners to go. And now it's only 1 corner to go. 1 final corner. It's the banked final turn here in Zandvoort. Do we get the win? It does look like it. We win the Dutch Grand Prix ahead of Verstappen, and we take points away from him. Let's go!
Yes, fantastic! You just won the Grand Prix!
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I won the Grand Prix. Of course, starting in P8, it is an amazing race, and it's been lots and lots of points. So let's hope that my teammate did a good job as well.
What a great race then, and a magnificent victory here at the Dutch Grand Prix. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, this was won through an abundance of speed and skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath. We saw it all today, and it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race to satisfy the purists today, I think.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
So as you can see, we are once again entering on a horse, and we are on the top step of the podium. Verstappen is alongside us in P2, and Fernando Alonso finishes up the podium in P3. Of course, the team is very happy with another win. We won last time in Belgium, and we win again in Zandvoort. Can we win next race? Make your predictions now in the comments down below, and maybe you can win absolutely nothing, maybe a heart on your comments. But yeah, the results, as you can see, we win the race with a 110.8. Absolutely wow. That is a really fast lap compared to the rest of the grid. Max Verstappen only a 111.9. And our teammates unfortunately only in P10, so only 1 point for him. But that gives us a total of 27 points this race. Of course, Schumacher and Stroll both DNFing. That's not good for Aston Martin, but I don't think that they could have achieved anything at all if they even finished the race. So yeah, we are now up into P2, 5 points behind Verstappen, so this was a really critical race. And as you can see, Oscar Piastri still in P15. Taking a look at the constructor standings, we are only 9 points behind Red Bull. The top 3 is only 9 points in between them. So it can still go towards Ferrari, towards Red Bull, or towards us. But we'll have to wait. I feel like we could win both titles, but we'll have to upgrade the car to make sure that we get enough speed in the coming races. But this is it for this episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please do. If you haven't seen the video on your screen right now, so go watch that video then. And I will see you in the Italian Grand Prix. A goodbye.